Good job, I'm Jerry. About to check out the unmatched aura of Roman Reigns. This video is about the wrestling zone. Roman Reigns has an incredible aura about himself. Just his physique, his attitude, his charisma. Ever since 2020, man, he has been on a whole different level from what he was before in the previous decade. And everything as far as his career, his trash talking has been incredible inside the ring. His promos has been up to par. He's been battling out with some of the best trash talkers and some of the best guys who can do promos and just like going at them verbatim and just killing them on the mic as well. He's definitely behind the scenes. He's been orchestrating the whole Bloodline storyline along with Paul Heyman. It's been one of the most popular storylines of the past 4 years, and it's only getting bigger and better, man. Now that he's all alone by himself now. But I'm ready to hop into this video. See the unmatched aura Roman Reigns. Let's go. Hold on 1 second.
You ever think back to those nights when Roman Reigns walked into the arena and the boos were so loud, you actually felt bad for the guy?
Yeah.
I was booed historically.
They hated him.
Like I said,
I myself, I love Roman Reigns. I've been a fan of his. I've been a fan of Roman since 2013 when the Shield was still intact and they were still heels. That's how long I've been a fan of his. And even when he became the tribal chief, you can tell it's a whole different Roman.
That was going to be shoved down our throat.
this is the guy they want us to cheer, but we're not ready to cheer it.
Yep.
Fast forward a little, and now people can't get enough of him.
These people, these are not people we
Everyone acknowledges him as the tribal chief. Imagine rolling into an arena where thousands of
my bad, y'all.
wrestling fans have already decided they can't stand you.
Yep.
Your music hits, and you emerge. Instead of cheers, you're hit with this.
You get booed. They booed the hell out of him.
For Roman,
Like, how you win the Royal Rumble and get booed out the building as a babyface? That's crazy as hell. Even The Rock couldn't even save you. The Rock even came out and tried to help Roman that night, and he got booed along with Roman.
Reigns, that was pretty much like him. Show after show.
Yep.
During his early singles run, WWE thought, hey, this guy has it all. The look, the lineage, the athleticism. He's the next face of the company, no question. But the audience just wasn't buying it. Maybe they felt it was too forced. Maybe they missed the Shield dynamic. Or maybe they just love rebelling against WWE's Golden Boy.
Yep.
Whatever the reason,
That's what it seemed
every
like.
time Roman showed up, fans crossed their arms and booed like their lives depended on it. The company tried everything to get fans on board. New catchphrases, new ring gear, even bringing in The Rock to give him the stamp of approval.
Didn't work. Nothing
The
worked.
crowds
Until the pandemic hit.
He'd go to WrestleMania.
He went away for a while,
year,
came
the
back as
reaction
an
barely
unstoppable heel.
changed. If anything, it got more intense.
And honestly, I think Roman might have took some acting classes during that time off, or either during his time away from the ring when he had got re-diagnosed with leukemia. His leukemia had came back. I think he might have took some acting classes because he ended up being in Hercules. Was it Hercules? What movie was that? No, it was Hobbs and Shaw. He was an extra in that movie. And I feel like he definitely took acting classes around that time frame between 2018 to 2020.
They thought more exposure would solve the problem.
Nope.
But it felt like fans just doubled down on their rejections. You've got to imagine that messes with a guy's head. Here's Roman, working his butt off, delivering main event matches, checking all the boxes that a top star should check. But the audience wouldn't cut him any slack. Eventually, you reach a breaking point. Are you going to keep swimming against this tidal wave of hate? Or do you use that to your advantage?
You're gonna embrace it.
That's exactly where Roman found himself. Something in him clicked. He realized that being the squeaky clean hero wasn't his path. If the fans are booing you, might as well give them a reason to keep doing it.
Yep.
And maybe, just maybe, they'll respect you for it.
Maybe. Yeah, honestly, they did.
You can touch my button. If I had one, you wouldn't be able to locate it. Can't no man knock me out. I'm tired of being humble.
I'm tired of getting, if they got a chance, is having my shoulders above everyone else. My company. I run it all. Their
the moment
promo
seeds were
was
planted
hard.
for the tribal chief. Instead of trying to force a cookie-cutter good guy act, Roman started to think about who he really was. A guy with deep family
He had to
roots.
take
A
acting
guy
classes
who
during
didn't
that
need to
time.
pander because he was confident in his own skill set. And a guy who could harness the audience's negative energy and twist it around. That set him on a collision course with the entire WWE universe. Little did they know, the unstoppable force known as Roman Reigns was just warming up. Okay, so if you're going to talk about Roman's journey, you can't ignore the giant elephant in the room.
The big
His
dog.
family.
Oh, okay.
The Anawani clan is basically wrestling royalty. We're talking about the Wild Samoans, Alpha and Sika, Yokozuna, Umaga, Rikishi,
Yeah.
the Usos, and of course,
The Rock.
none other than The Rock. This is a Hall of Fame bloodline.
Naomi,
A
Nia
pipeline
Jax,
straight to the
Tamina,
top of the wrestling world.
Solo.
Growing up in that family means the pressure starts practically from birth. Imagine going to a family reunion and half the people there are legendary wrestlers with multiple championship belts in their trophy cases. You're not just living up to a family name, you're living up to a dynasty. When Roman decided to pursue the ring, it wasn't, will he be good? It was, will he
You had to
measure
be
up
good.
decades of champions before him? Here's the twist. Roman initially tried to break away. He played football
Played
at Georgia
football,
Tech,
yeah.
even had a shot at the NFL. Maybe he wanted to prove he could succeed on his own terms. But when the football dream didn't fully pan out, fate brought him back to wrestling. And once he stepped into WWE, the shadow of the Anawani family was everywhere. WWE saw the family name, saw Roman's look, and said, he's the next big star. But Roman was essentially starting his career already being compared to The Rock, Yokozuna, and Umaga. That's a tough act to follow. Any slip-up, any moment of weakness, and people would say, he's not as good as the rest of his family.
Yep.
Talk about carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. But here's the thing. That legacy is also what eventually gave Roman the key to unlock his tribal chief persona. Instead of running from the family heritage, he embraced it. He took all that lineage, the pride, the tribal affiliations, the honor code, and infused it into his character. It wasn't a gimmick. It was his real-life heritage, dialed up to 11. Once he leaned into that part of himself, that's when the magic started to happen. It gave him a sense of authenticity that you just can't fake.
Yep.
Let's pause the wrestling narrative for a second and talk about the night Roman dropped a bombshell on all of us. October 22nd, 2018.
I remember that night like it was yesterday.
Walks into Monday Night Raw, not in his usual gear, but in street clothes. His face is serious, and the crowd senses something is off. Then he says,
My real name is Joe. And I've been living with leukemia for 11 years.
you could hear a pin drop in that arena.
Everybody took
For
a
all
huge
the
gas.
times fans booed and chanted Roman sucks. In that moment, none of it mattered.
Everybody was emotional. Self was visibly
The Universal
emotional.
Championship
on
because
live
he had to
TV.
fight something much bigger than any wrestling storyline. Suddenly, the man behind Roman Reigns was front and center, and fans saw Joe Anoa'i as a human being battling a life-threatening illness for the second time. But that changed everything. No matter how jaded or cynical you might be as a wrestling fan, hearing that kind of news hits hard. The same arenas that once rained down boos were now giving him standing ovations and chanting his name out of genuine concern. Hashtag Thank You Roman started trending. Even the hardest critics admitted
yourself.
they wanted him to come back healthy. While Roman was away, wrestling felt weird. The show went on, titles changed hands, new feuds popped up, but there was a massive hole where Roman used to be.
Roman wasn't there.
You realized how integral he actually was to the whole machine. Off-screen, he was going through chemo, facing the biggest fight of his life. Not for belts, but for more days on this earth. That it was real, heartfelt applause, not the sarcastic or forced kind he'd gotten in the past. The crowd had witnessed a man conquer something way more brutal than any wrestling match. This real-life battle, through real pain, came out stronger. That shift in perspective laid the groundwork for everything that followed. When Roman eventually returned as a heel, fans didn't just see a character turn. They saw a man who had fought life and death battles, giving him a level of credibility you can't script. So, Roman's back, healthy, ready to roll. Most people expected him to be the conquering hero, riding this massive wave of goodwill. But Roman was like, yeah, I'm going to do something else. Enter SummerSlam 2020, where Roman
Bray
showed
Wyatt
up out
versus
of
Braun
nowhere
Strowman.
and aligned himself with Paul Heyman. Yes, the same Paul Heyman who'd managed Brock Lesnar and other notorious heels.
Kurt Angle.
Overnight,
Who else? Big Show.
everything changed.
CM Punk.
Gone was the big dog who smiled at
RVD.
the crowd and tried to be everyone's hero. This new Roman was colder, more calculating, and had zero interest in winning the crowd over. He called himself the tribal chief,
head of the
demanded
table.
everyone acknowledge him, and basically turned into this unstoppable final boss you only see in the last level of a video game. Here's the kicker. Fans loved it.
I got that exact shirt.
Who'd him for years started thinking, wait a minute, this is actually awesome. Why? Because it felt authentic. For the first time, Roman wasn't trying to fit a WWE mold. He was leaning into his Samoan heritage, using the family ties with the Usos and broadcasting this vibe that said, I run this place, and if you have a problem with that, step up. The Bloodline storyline took off like a rocket. It wasn't just Roman bossing people around. It was
Boss
about
Jay.
family drama. The Usos,
He
his
bossed
real-life
Jay
cousins, were torn between loyalty to their champion cousin and their own pride. Throw Paul Heyman into the mix, arguably one of the best talkers in the history of wrestling, and you have an Angle dripping with tension, betrayal, and carried himself like a king. There was no more pandering, no more cheap pops. He'd stroll in, do his business, and stroll out, leaving devastation in his wake. It was the exact opposite of what WWE better than anyone could have predicted.
Yep.
If you ever want a crash course on how to go from forced babyface to mega heel, just study Roman's run as the tribal chief. He turned the volume up on all the elements people used to complain about and owned them completely. That slow, confident walk, now it was menacing. The short, decisive promos, now they were chilling. The family ties, now they were a weapon he used to manipulate his own blood. This is the art of the heel at its finest. Roman wasn't cracking
That's some damn good character work.
jokes or trying to be a flashy villain. He was more like a mafia boss, methodical, cunning, and holding on to that Universal Championship like it was the crown jewels. He'd look people dead in the eye and say, acknowledge me. And it wasn't just a catchphrase. It was a threat.
He meant that shit.
Even better, Roman knew how to use vulnerability to his advantage. Every once in a while, you'd see a flicker of doubt in his eyes. Just enough to remind you he's still human under all that bravado. Then he'd go right back to being the cold, calculating tribal chief. It was like he was letting you peek behind the curtain just enough to get hooked before he slammed it shut again.
Look how small he
And
was
talk
at
about
that
ring
time
psychology.
compared to how he look
Roman's
now.
pacing shifted. He'd slow the match down, talk trash in his opponent's ear,
Yep.
and control the tempo. Suddenly, every single move felt like it meant something. He'd hit a Superman punch or a spear, and you'd believe that was game over. It's not that he became a different wrestler physically. It was that he refined the way he told stories in the ring. The fans who once chanted, "You can't wrestle," started chanting,
I wonder where
"This
he
is
got
awesome."
that from.
And it was no accident.
Like
Roman
what
was
made
giving
the
them
switch
exactly
hit
what they wanted. Edge,
during that time
dominance,
away
and authenticity.
and when he came back.
Now let's fast forward to when Roman decided having just one belt wasn't enough. He unified
had to get
the
two.
WWE Championship and the Universal Championship, hoisting both titles in the air like a proud lion showing off his latest kill. If people thought he was unstoppable before, now he was basically Thanos with all the Infinity Stones. And here's the funny thing. The less Roman shows up, the more people crave him. WWE started booking him as this rare attraction. He's not wrestling every week. He's not cutting 20-minute promos on every show. His appearances are like special events, and fans
That's
treat
true.
them as such.
That's true.
It's like the old school approach of less is more, and it's turned Roman into an even bigger deal. As the undisputed champion, Roman's reached that final boss status in WWE. Guys like Brock Lesnar, John Cena, Cody Rhodes, they've all lined up, and almost every time, Roman
And then the crazy part is, everybody that Roman has ever feuded with during these past 4 years, all have elevated to superstardom. Jey Uso, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Jimmy as well. Solo, who else? Drew McIntyre. Logan Paul, Cody, all have elevated to superstardom. Because without Roman, Jay and Jimmy would have never main evented WrestleMania. What was it, night 1, 2 years ago, in a tag team match. Neither would have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn would have never main evented Elimination Chamber in 2023, or was that last year? 2024. It's like it's all boiled. No, that was 2023. It all boiled down to Roman. Roman has elevated every single superstar he has ever been in the ring with, and it's been incredible to see. And Jay has been the number one person to elevate more because he just became the World Heavyweight Champion at WrestleMania this year.
Roman's found a way to beat them. The question isn't just who can dethrone Roman.
The island of relevancy is real.
Anyone even going to come close? The Bloodline storyline has extended its fingers into almost every corner of WWE. The Usos became the longest reigning tag champs in company history.
Yep.
Solo Sikoa jumped into the mix.
Why didn't they?
Superstars like Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes went on to main event.
Everybody has elevated.
Paul Heyman continues
My
to
point
work
exactly.
behind the scenes. It's like Roman's empire
My point
is growing
is
bigger by the day.
my point exactly.
And everyone else
Everybody
is
has
just
elevated.
trying to keep up. At some point, you'd think fans would get tired of the same champion holding the gold for over 1,000 days.
Yeah.
But ironically, it's made the belts feel more important. When Roman defends them, it's an event, a chance to witness history. Every match has that "is this finally it" tension, reminiscent of The Undertaker's WrestleMania streak.
Mm-hmm.
You're glued to the screen, wondering if the Tribal Chief's empire is about to crumble, or if he'll once again solidify his claim as the most dominant champion of the modern era. So, where does that leave us? Well, Roman Reigns has gone from being the big dog that nobody wanted to the Tribal Chief that pretty much everyone acknowledges,
Yeah.
whether they like him or not. The
You have to
journey wasn't
acknowledge
smooth.
the Tribal
It
Chief.
involved deafening boos, real-life battles with leukemia, navigating family legacy, and figuring out that being the good guy isn't always the best path.
Yeah.
The key to Roman's unmatched aura is that he finally embraced who he truly is. He stopped pandering, stopped reading off a script that didn't fit him, and tapped into something raw and authentic. He's the final boss now, the measuring stick, the guy that elevates every storyline just by being in it. Love him or hate him, you can't ignore him. And that, my friends, is the mark of a true generational superstar.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a lesson in perseverance. Roman had every reason to give up. Fan backlash, serious health issues, the pressure of a legendary wrestling lineage. Instead, he used every challenge as a stepping stone. He took the boos and turned them into the backbone of his new persona. He took a life-threatening illness and turned it into an anchor of realness that earned fans' respect. He leveraged a family dynasty that could have overshadowed him and made it the heart of his character. Now, he stands before us as the undisputed Tribal Chief, the longest reigning champion in modern history, a locker room leader, and arguably the biggest star in wrestling today.
The biggest attraction
When
today.
that music hits and he walks out alongside his wise band, you can't look away. You know you're about to witness something
That
special.
aura
A
is
slow
something
burn,
strong, something
intense
powerful.
standoff, or maybe even another shocking betrayal.
Because these days it's so rare to see Roman on SmackDown and on Raw.
Eventually,
Even
someone
having
will
a
step
match
up to
on
the
Raw
throne
or
room.
SmackDown is
And
rare as
when
hell.
that happens, it'll be one of the biggest moments in WWE history.
But he's earned it.
Precisely because he's been so unstoppable.
Yep.
But until that day, we get to ride this wave of a character who found his calling, not by trying to be the hero everyone expected, but by becoming the villain that shook the wrestling world to its core. So that's the deal. From the big dog nobody wanted to acknowledge, to the Tribal Chief commanding the entire wrestling universe to acknowledge him, Roman Reigns has rewritten the script on what it means to be a top star. He's proven that authenticity, patience, and sometimes embracing the darkest parts of yourself can create the kind of legacy run that people will talk about for generations. Whether you are booing him from day one or cheering him all along, you can't deny what he's accomplished. He's changed the game, given us must-see storylines, and turned that nuclear heat into the gold standard of modern wrestling. And if there's one thing you should take away from his journey, it's this. Sometimes the path to true greatness starts by walking straight into the storm and coming out the other side as the storm itself.
True.
Acknowledge him or not, but you can't help but notice that Roman Reigns is operating on a different level. And that's exactly how he built the most electrifying, unstoppable, flat-out dominant aura we've seen in WWE for a very long time. But here's the twist. This entire saga would be half as epic without the man who broke out of Roman's shadow and became a full-blown main event star.
Jey Uso.